Doesn't matter what you've accomplished, what you've done, so I choose to work just for private owners now.
Welcome back to Property Pulse, guys. I'm Drew, and today we're chatting with Judith Pinnell, property manager at Carlsbad Pines Apartments and also Victoria Station Apartments.
And
Judith has
also Sand Dollar, too.
and Sand Dollar,
Oh,
over a decade in property management.
yeah.
We're seeing communities from student housing to senior living. And before that, she spent 21 years as an award-winning radio broadcaster. So she knows a thing or two about keeping people engaged. Judith, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you.
Yeah, great. Well,
Lovely to be here.
Thank you for being here. And let's start with the day-to-day, Judith. What does a typical day look like for you at your communities?
Well, I always, right now I have an office in my home. It's the first time in my 18 going on 19-year career doing this property management. It's a bit different because people tend to think that you work 24/7, and that's not the case, that's for sure. But I would say typically I'm always checking my emails. I even have my work email on my personal phone. I don't like to use my personal phone for work business, but I do now and then. And so that is always the first thing I do. And then we're going to be walking all of the properties, my husband and I. It's good for a bit of exercise. Plus, I don't like trash. I know that when my tenants have guests, I want them to come over and think, oh, what a lovely property. Ooh, look at over there and look at that. So we always, even in the front where people, we don't smoke here in California, it's not allowed, but in communities anyway. So even when people step out on the street in front, I think that's also a showcase for your property as well. So we pick up all the trash and the cigarette butts and everything. And this is how we get to check and do a little walkabout and see how things are going. And if the untidiness is getting out of control, then they're going to get a lovely little reminder from me,
What's the proximity between your properties? Because you do this every day. You go and walk your properties.
Yeah, pretty much. Victoria Station is right next door.
Okay.
And my youngest daughter is my on-site manager there.
Awesome.
Then Sand Dollar is about a half a mile down the road. And they're all little seaside properties. And Carlsbad is expensive. If you want to live here, you got to pay a pretty penny. And that's why people who live in our communities understand that there's a 10 o'clock, everything goes down, noise, respectful. I always let people know. I say the same thing to everybody, maybe in a little different genre or what have you, but the same when I'm touring. I say the same kind of things to every single person. So there's no mistake. And that is, if after hours partying is your lifestyle, then this probably wouldn't be the community for you.
Yeah.
Well, then emails and then organizing maintenance.
Yeah, sure. And we'll get into that. How many units do you manage? How many overall?
Well, let's see. I've downsized over the years. So I have 36 here, 32 there, and 16 at Sand Dollar. Plus, I oversee the other managers, so I help out there.
Well, Judy, can you walk me through the last time a tenant called after hours with a maintenance issue? How was it handled?
Well, we have after-hours maintenance emergencies, so only. But people tend to think that everything in their life is an emergency.
Right.
So you have to sort out what is and what isn't. For example, just the other night, I don't know why somebody would think I'm sitting at my desk at 11 o'clock checking my emails or ringing on the office phone. You can always ring on the office phone because it beeps and I'll hear it. But actually to call, the after hours maintenance emergency line to say that somebody was parking in his parking spot. So how it was handled was, no, we didn't go out there at 11 o'clock at night. I'm sorry. That's not an emergency. There is extra parking spaces. I have a space with 2 cones if you really need to park, and we'll take care of it in the morning. And that's exactly how I handled it in the morning. I emailed him and said, it doesn't constitute an after hours emergency. We're in bed by that time. And in the future, if you have this problem, I said it was a mix up with a new tenant with an extra big truck. I said, we changed the spaces. I said, but we'll work it out. But in the meantime, if this ever happens in the future, feel free to park in the space with the cones and we'll sort it out in the morning.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
you have
There have
to.
been times have there been times when things yeah, I know, and everyone thinks no matter what, everything's an emergency in their lives,
Yes.
right? As
Yeah.
small. Did you okay, so you responded to them in the morning, right? Did that come through as a phone call? Like, how do you handle is it a voicemail that they leave? They leave a
They do. They leave voicemails. Sometimes they'll call and don't leave a voicemail, and you're left to be guessing, or they'll, leave a message and not say which apartment they are or which property. So
yeah,
we always
yeah.
have to go. I always have to go to my directories and then, match it up. It would be nice to have like an after hours company answering the phone. Would my owners go for that? I don't know. They're very old school, very old school.
Do you currently use any kind of tech or tools to help manage maintenance requests?
At my other
None.
properties in San Diego, I had the on-desk panini although I could have cheerfully thrown that through the window many, many a time because it breaks down all the time. I preferably would like to have tenants have an opportunity to pay their rent on time. I know that a lot of people just get checkbooks now specifically to pay my rent because I notice the numbers going up just by one each month. And a lot of especially the younger folks, they don't even know how to write a check sometimes. It's really funny. But
Yes.
yeah, I've had, I have to, not all the time. If I'm really busy, I don't check all of the checks because I get a lot of them in. But the bank will discard them and say, oh, no, I'm not taking this. Look at this. He wrote the amount on the line where the property is supposed to be and things like that. So I would really like online payments. I've been talking to the owners about that, and I think that they are up for it.
For yeah, I think, owners should be if it makes things efficient for them and even
Yes.
more profitable and make it easy for everybody, they should
Yeah.
be open to, you know?
And that way, it's also saves me going to the bank
Yeah.
because not everybody pays their rent on time. And, I don't like to charge a late fee if I can help it. So we always give a grace period, of course. And on the third day before time runs out, those who haven't checked in with their rent checks yet, I will send a friendly reminder to everybody who hasn't. Do the same thing for everybody. Friendly reminder, your rent is due. Please avoid the late fee. And that way they know that I'm expecting it in my box. Now, I won't charge them late fee if it's in my box and it's there by the first thing in the morning on the 4th. Because, I don't know what time they've slipped that in there. And, feasibly they have until 5 p.m. But, I'm not so rigid as a management company is, let's put it that way. And I think if you're rigid, that's going to be a big, big, big turnoff anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone loves you, your personality, you bring that human touch to it.
You have
People
to
look
have a human touch. You do. And even though AI is a thing of the future, and I'm all for it, except for, it's going to be taken away. I do believe a lot of jobs, bank teller jobs, data entry jobs, things like that. It's also going to be beneficial to us. We're always going to have managers. My owners believe in on-site management so that in case of emergencies or in case of something happening, we are here. There's always somebody on site, somebody looking over. I'm the one who always goes and flits off. It's my husband who's always left on site. And then my daughter covers for me and I cover for her. So, and I
yeah,
cover for other managers as well when they want to go. But,
teamwork makes the dream work, but
it is teamwork, and a good manager delegates, and a good manager lets people do what they do best. I won't ever profess to know maintenance. Tenants will start to yak to me about this and that, and oh, the tub spout's doing this, and I'll say, "Oh, stop right there. You are speaking to a wall." I will get the appropriate people to handle this, but I am not it. It's just like, with mathematics, I don't trust my math on addition. I'm always using a calculator, and, however,
Do you have an on-site maintenance staff?
my husband is light maintenance now, but I have my own contractors. The owners are very faithful to their vendors, so we've been using the same vendors. There's been a couple I've had to edge them towards perhaps a new horizon here and there. And I'm grateful that they do listen to me and my experience. I think I am the most experienced manager that they have had. And
Awesome.
they know that my husband and I are loyal. We are loyal to every single person we've ever worked for. I don't like working for management companies because you can flog your guts out, and then as soon as a management company comes in, they clean house and bring in their own people. And it doesn't matter what you've accomplished, what you've done, So I choose to work just for private owners now, and I have wonderful owners now. I haven't had so much in the past. I had to leave a job because I had an owner want me to commit, against the law, and especially against fair housing, that's for sure, and I wouldn't do it. Won't ever do it. Never.
Uh-huh.
So with my tenants, I'm not their friends. Never, you can't be friends.
Yeah.
I'm
You can be
friendly.
friendly, but
I'm
not never.
friendly, and I'm professional always, and I always let everyone know that I do things by the book. I don't ever knock on people's doors after hours. You don't know what's going to happen, especially after my 18 years. I've seen and heard it all, and they'll get a friendly reminder via writing because I like to have a paper trail. If somebody has a complaint, it has to be in writing to me. I will never reveal my sources. Little birdie sat on my shoulder, came to my attention, that kind of thing. And I'll give them a friendly reminder that, second time you're in violation of terms of lease. And then I will point out exactly where in the lease you can find this. And you sign that lease indicating that indeed you have read it, and I send a copy of every lease before anyone signs it so that they can be sure to read it for any kind of questions they may have. And then if you violate that, then that's on you.
That's it.
And then if they still ignore me, then they're going to get a 3-day perform covenants or quit. If that's still in ignoration, I'm going to give them the second follow-up to the 3-day perform or quit, and then they're going to be leaving our property.
Well, that's managing personified, right?
Yes, I hate to do that sometimes. I will work with you. If you're late, if you can't pay your rent on time, understand you're going to pay that late fee, but as long as you set a date with me and you pay that on time, I'm going to always work with you with a payment plan. If you don't adhere to that payment plan, then you've blown it, Cisco.
Yeah. I guess
Then it's
communication is
not going to
really key,
happen.
right? Communication is critical
Yes,
in understanding
communication is the
things.
key.
And Judy, I know leasing is another big piece of your work. Let's
Yes.
talk about that for a second, okay? Tell me about a recent challenge with maybe converting a prospect. What broke down or slowed things down? Do you run into any?
Yes, I would say with some of our youngsters that are just getting out into the world, when I go through a website called Rent Spree, it's through the California Apartment Association. They pay them directly online, even though I just don't trust the background checks very well. I've had some instances there, but recently with the young college kids who haven't really established a big line of credit, it gets held up several days by the TransUnion company where they have to do their thing, I guess, and they hold everything up for several days.
And that comes as pressure on you coming from
Well,
that prospect?
because I have other people who are interested, and supposing that person is not going to qualify ultimately, then I've already lost my leads over here. And when someone submits an application, you have to give them a chance to follow through with that application. See,
Yeah.
it's once they submit, you have to give them a chance to follow through before you can accept. You can't just pick and choose.
Yeah,
You
rare.
can't just grab applications, a lot of people think that you can just gather up applications and then pick the best one that's going to be suitable to you. No, you can't. You
Right.
have to take your first application, the person that applies, they have
Mhm.
to follow through with all of your requirements. They have to respond once upon approval or disapproval. If they approve, then it says right there in my application process form that everybody receives that you have 24 hours after approval to respond with the $500 holding deposit and signing the apartment reservation form, or I'm going to be moving on, sweetie pie. I wouldn't call him sweetie pie, but in my head, I'm saying, I'm going, baby. Um, I have help now, like I've moved people from out of state into an
Okay.
apartment sight unseen. They've never seen it. They've sent me money. They've trusted me. And I'm blessed that I can be trusted because I did have a lady come here from San Francisco and she'd been scammed. This is a big, huge thing. I don't know how it is in other states, but here in California, you can get scammed easily. And she'd
So
been scammed because she gave a deposit before she'd even seen or met the person. Now, I won't take any monies from people here in California unless they've toured with me, unless I've met them. They've seen the property. They understand what our requirements are for living here. We are a gated community. We do have requirements. And she was kind of apprehensive because she needed a place to come, see, for her new job. And she was apprehensive. And I said, well, I'm going to leave it up to you. I said, I have moved here, people here from out of state that have trusted me. And I'm letting you know that I would never steal from you, but that's, all good to say and do. I said, so it's going to have to be up to you. And of course, she ended up trusting me. She lived with me for 2 years before she popped off and got married. But for people to be able to trust you and send your money,
yeah.
and then it's
Wow.
very, very important to me that they come to an apartment that they can move straight in. It's been painted, it's squeaky clean and truly move-in ready. If there's a maintenance issue, it's been repaired. If we've missed it, we are going to be Johnny on the spot and repair it within a
Fine-tooth comb.
reasonable time.
Yeah. Do you use any automated tools for any kind of follow-ups or reminders or pre-screening, or is it all manual? Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
please
when multiple
change that.
tours, do you ever have multiple tours or applications happen at once? And if you do, how do you prioritize and keep everything running smoothly?
No, I set appointments. And I have had two people show up at the same time. Sometimes people just show up and they holler outside the gate, hello. And I say, can I help you? And I'm going to accommodate. I will always accommodate. If it's after hours or if I'm sick, I think I lost my temper one time, not with somebody who was touring, but with he was a nasty tenant. And I've been patient with him in the past, but this time it was a Friday night. It was after hours. It was like 9 o'clock at night. I'd been home all day, ill with the flu, sicker than a dog.
No fun.
No fun, really ill. Landscaper, as you know, must keep the trees back from the building, and they trimmed apparently his tree in his little backyard area. And he came screaming down to my apartment. The front window was open. He started screaming in my window. Come to the door. I want to talk to you about this tree. You've ruined my life, he said. You've
Mm.
ruined my life. I said, how so? You've ruined my life. You've cut the tree back. And I said, I didn't have anything I said, pardon me. I said, I'm very ill. I said, can you come back on Monday? I'll be happy to discuss it with you and explain to you the reason why. No, he decided to yell at me and I lost my temper and I told him I'm sick. Come
Yeah.
back on Monday. I felt bad about that. I told the owners that I had said that, just in case anyone wanted to complain.
Yeah.
He had no need to complain. He was parking his motorcycle in his living room.
Wow.
So he had to go to greener pastures ultimately.
Yeah.
I won't take, I'm at this point in my life, I'll be professional to you, but I
Yeah,
ain't taking, pardon me, who off of
right.
anyone.
Especially
If
when you're sick.
you're
Come on.
especially, but anytime I've had it all. I was dressed down, up and down by this tiny little woman who was like inches from my face, screaming foul language. I could tell I've been around the block a few times. She was on drugs. So, of course, I'm keeping my composure, mate. I don't care how small you are. I may tower over you, dear, but you just don't know what drugs do, especially speed. And
Yeah.
that's what I thought it was. And we had that was a whole instance in itself.
Wow, you've seen it all. That's true.
I have. Do you know, Drew, my first job was very, very good teaching because it was a Section 8 affordable housing, state income tax, blah, blah, federal housing property, 55 plus. And I
Yeah.
went to the bank making my deposit, and we were chatting, we were behind, and she says, what do you do for a living? We were chatting away, and I said, well, I've just started a job as a property manager. And she looked straight at me and she goes, dear, I'm so sorry. She says, I was a property manager for 21 years, dear. And she says, I'd never do it again in another lifetime. Well,
Well, what
people
company
think
you
that as a manager, you get free rent, etc.
Ah,
No, it's earned.
wow, yes,
It's
right,
a part of
right.
your salary package anyway, but it is earned, and you don't
Completely.
ever get compensated for what you do in this kind of a position.
No
I don't.
way. What you said before, the guy came up to your open window, so they know where you live. They're hunting you
Yes.
down.
Hunting me
You're at the beck and
down
they think that you're at their beck and call. It's
all the
crazy to me.
time. It is, and it would be nice to have an AI something take over after hours so that I
Yeah.
don't get, like, by all means, emergencies, put them through. But let's screen them, folks. If you lock
Yeah.
yourself out and I happen to be home and up,
Yeah.
I will give you the key. I always have a spare key. Bring it back in the morning, what have you. If
Yeah.
it's 2 o'clock in the morning, don't wake me up. You go call that locksmith. I'm sorry you've locked yourself out, but that's why I give you two keys so you have a
Right.
spare.
Right. Right. Well, Judy, I know flipping over to tours now really quick.
Yes,
Tours and scheduling can be tricky too, I'm sure.
yes.
Tell tell me more about that. Like, describe the last time scheduling tours became a challenge. Like, what broke down there?
Always after hours. People do not accommodate themselves or want to accommodate tours to your working hours. And I want to say to them, are you going to pay me? Because I don't get paid for this extra time, by the way. Like Saturdays,
Yeah.
Sundays, it's like, sorry, I go to church every Sunday and I don't work on Sunday. That's the day of rest. I will not do, I have because of emergencies, of course, you must. Saturdays, after hours, it's just always being bothered. And I would like to be able to have like something or someone screen things, take messages
Green.
for me for Monday morning because after all this time, I don't work weekends. I
Yeah.
used to. I used to
Yeah.
have assistants do all my filing. I hate to file.
Yeah.
I used to
Yeah.
say, oh, Debbie, please file for me, dear. It's a whole stack over there. Give you
Yeah.
something to do this weekend. But that's when I had an office, Here at home, I have to do it all. So it would be nice to have an extra set of hands, so to speak.
So explain that again. You said something about for Monday. What would help you is screening
Yes,
calls, screening inquiries, screening and what do you mean by
everything.
Monday? Have it ready for you by Monday and saying this is what
Yes.
happened over the
So,
weekend?
and have like a printout or something so that then Monday I can sit and go through everything, call everybody back that I need to, and respond to those people that don't have emergencies but have an issue. And I don't want them to ever think that they're not important,
Sure.
because everybody's important. You know that. They're all important, and I'm more important than anybody else. My problem's more than his. I don't get into tenant disputes either. I try to stay out of tenant
Smart.
disputes
Smart.
completely, yes. But it would be nice to have something like that or to set up 4 times during my working hours, you know?
Yeah.
If somebody wanted to come and tour, it would be so much nicer for me not to have to say this and that or have to say, well, okay, I'll accommodate you because I'm a soft touch. And I think not quite that soft, not marshmallowy soft, by the way,
Yeah. I
but
get it.
you
But very
can
accommodative,
put
though.
a little pudding in me. But
Yeah.
it would be nice to have something automatic set up touring appointments for me. That would be lovely. And that way I
Interesting.
wouldn't have to deal with all that. They can just schedule it at times. Like, for example, if you had a program that said, all right, I want you to schedule tour times from this to this on this day for this amount of time. And
Yes.
I take my time with tours. I like to schedule at
Sure.
least an hour. I'm not going to be rushing anyone through. I'm going to show them around the whole entire property first, show them where they park, how we get in. This is what we do. I'm chatting with them. Meantime, I'm always myself, professional self, but I'm always going to be myself. If they
Yeah.
ask me a question, I'm going to always tell them the truth. We live on the other side of the tracks here, which is closer to the beach, which you want to live on the other side of the tracks. The coaster goes by. And they'll ask me about that. And I'll say, well, best ask the manager on site here because she lives here and she lives closer to the tracks than me. And she'll always answer them. And I'll say, well, hang about. I said, it's mostly in the morning commute. I said, and in the evening commute, but they buzz by. Sometimes they get naughty. They're not supposed to, hit their horn here. But if there's a pretty girl walking by golly, they do. But they, and I let them know where they hit the horn, where they're supposed to. And then I hope for one to come by. And very often it takes forever for one to come by. But I hope they do so they can hear it for
Yeah.
themselves because, if that's not your thing, then that's not going to be the property for you. So I think it's best to be honest with people.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
come up with something that schedules touring. That would be
Yeah.
lovely.
Don't worry. Oh, we do all of that. We're actually what we do for our podcast
Yeah.
guests, and not for everybody, just for our podcast guests, is that we develop and create a demo for you based on what you're saying, and we'll present it to you, and it's free for you to preview and see because we want your feedback. Is this what you're talking about? Check this out. This is what we can do. So I'm going to be very excited to build something for you and show it to
All
you,
right.
and then hopefully hopefully it makes sense.
That would be great.
Yeah, but let's zoom out a little bit and talk about technology in general.
Hmm.
How do you see technology and AI shaping property management today? It sounds like you haven't really dug into it, but have you
But
tried any AI tools at all?
I would like to. Now, funny enough, one of my owners is world renowned, actually. He's a triple doctorate in tribology and he's invented things and like things that scan your eyeballs and, things like that.
Wow. Wow.
That tell you if you have, and he was a professor here in San Diego and still does it part-time, even though he's skied into his 80s, let's put it that way. But he's going to be watching. I told him, I said, I'm going to be doing this podcast. And he said, good,
Nice.
send me the link. I want to watch
Okay.
it. So let's get him some information.
Yeah, that's great.
He would be very interested
Okay.
in,
What was that whole eyeball scan? Is that for like identity recognition or is
no,
it for looking at
for illness.
ailments?
For
Illness, yeah.
eyeball illness and things like that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he's done lots and lots of other things, but I won't give him away. He doesn't like people to,
Sure. Not at all. But I think someone like that would appreciate what we're going to build for you. I think he'll be impressed.
Oh, he's a
Hopefully
genius. Yes, yes, he's a genius. I told him was too. I said, you're a genius, Frank, because you hired me.
the biggest genius move he ever made in his life, right? You're so charming. I'm
He
like,
loved.
I love you already. How can people not love you? You're
I don't
amazing.
know. Ask my
You-
husband now.
Oh, wow. Thinking ahead 5 years, how do you see yourself and your team adapting? How big is your team anyway? Who's involved? Who is a part of your team?
Well, we're
Obviously,
just
it
a
sounds like your
small
husband.
team. Yeah. Team here. Let's see. One, two, three, four, five, and six. About 10 of us all together, but that's with
Okay.
all the properties.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
team, good size. If you think ahead 5 years, how do you see yourself and your team adapting to new tech?
I think we're going to have to. It's
Yeah,
just like in other things, in my other profession. You had to get on board, baby, or you get off the train. You do. You have to get on board. This is the future. Whether we like it or not,
yeah,
AI is the future.
yeah.
Yes, it's going to be taking over a lot of what I call mundane jobs. Although it will take jobs like, factory jobs and things like that. But they're mundane jobs. Then maybe, people could go to college and do something that they really want to do. You
Right,
know,
right.
why
And
not?
it's actually gonna create different jobs that we don't even know about right now.
Yes. Yeah,
Not only
that's
that,
true.
but gonna enhance what we right now are doing too.
Yeah.
It's fully
Yeah.
supportive.
You must be
So
super
we're excited.
smart, though. Super smart to do all that stuff.
Well, you learn. Sometimes it comes to you by accident, right? And I'm blessed to be surrounded by a great team, and I
Uh-huh.
learn every day, and it's so fascinating to see what the future is holding.
Yes. Yeah.
But I can't wait to develop something for you and present it to
That'd be
you.
interesting. Yeah.
And
That'd be
this has been
lovely.
great, Judy. Before we wrap up, any advice for fellow property managers that are balancing tech, AI, and then also the human side of their work?
I
You've
would
got many
say
years.
I would say always keep the human side and use the AI side. Anything to make your job easier is fantastic because then you have time to be a better manager, I think. And
Exactly.
you know, uh, s- I like to create a sense of community. That's very important for people to want to really be where they live and be a part of where they live, especially apartment living, because, all kinds of things. You have a whole bunch of people that live together. It's very important that they come together. So I think a manager's a big part of that. I break out my DJ equipment, which I used to do for my seniors 55 plus in the
Wonderful.
community room. We
Yeah.
used to have play all the music that they loved back when and give them some exercise, little dancing party. Yes, by all means, make things easier for property managers so we could have more time with our tenants.
Well, thank you so much for
You're
joining us today.
welcome. Thank you for having me.
Listeners, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Listeners, if you can connect with Judy on LinkedIn, and we're going to put the link in our description below.
lovely.
And that's it for this episode of Property Pulse.
Okay.
So keep
All right.
innovating, stay organized, and never stop building.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Drew.
guys. See ya.
Bye bye.